Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners, macabre murders, and captivating crimes from across the centuries, and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. And it's episode 216.
Hurrah!
Hurrah, indeed.
Hurrah.
How are you, Nick?
I'm okay.
Oh, you're okay.
I've run out of wine. It's very
You've
sad.
run out of wine.
It's very, very sad.
Yeah,
very sad.
We've had a couple of glasses of wine before we started, which sometimes bodes well and sometimes bodes bad.
We shall see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
It was a winey sort of evening.
It was. It's a hot summer's night. Sultry summer evening.
Yes.
But you're well. Good.
Yes. I believe so.
You'll hang on in there.
I'll survive the next couple of hours.
Oh, good. Any poisonings this week?
Probably.
Probably?
I don't know. I've been busy. I've got other stuff to think about.
Okay. Wow. All right.
I don't have time to worry about such things.
What have you been thinking about?
I'm busy at work and stuff to do. And
okay.
Stuff to do. So I don't have time to concern myself with such goings on.
Trifling matters.
Exactly.
Oh, well, that's
None
good.
of that.
Well, that's nice that you're not thinking of poisoning things. For once, yeah.
For once.
People have escaped.
Aren't they lucky?
Well, speaking of being far too busy to poison anyone, but still thinking about it occasionally, I think it is time for us to thank our delicious Patreon subscribers.
We most certainly should. This week we have thanks to say to Maria Williams.
To Tegan the cat.
To Sherlock and Watson, Ragdoll Cats.
Oh, nice. And to Hayley Smith.
Marvellous.
Lovely cat-based Patreons.
Cat-based people today.
You sexy, sexy Patreon subscribers. Yes, very good cat-based names. Sherlock, the Ragdoll Cats. We need pictures.
Yes, indeed.
I know you may have them as your profile picture, but we need more. Feel free to message us with just pictures of cats.
Yes, that's all.
And when we say us, I mean me.
Mainly Sinead.
Mainly me.
Mainly Sinead.
I'd say we had fun on Patreon this week.
But we haven't done it yet.
Well,
So
we're going to.
we're going to, but we haven't done it yet.
No, we haven't done it yet because this week marks the 200th Deadly Nightcaps episode. These are our bonus episodes that we do on Patreon, and we've done 200 of them. Probably.
But we haven't yet.
No, yes, well, we will.
But we will be doing it soon.
We will. As we did such a fun do for our 200th main episode, we thought we'd do something a little extra on Patreon, so we're doing a grand old Q&A. Our Patreons have been sending through many questions, and they're good ones. They're really good fun. So we will be putting out our 200th Deadly Nightcaps episode this weekend coming at the time of this episode airing. If you're not listening to this in real time, it's there somewhere. Find it. It's going to be fun, I've decided.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you decided.
I have, yes. If you want to know what the hell we're talking about, or if you do want to squeeze in a final question, if you are listening to this live for the Q&A, you can head over to Patreon and join us. It is from but $5 a month, where you do get the extra Deadly Nightcaps episodes every single week, as well as lots of extra bonus material. You get to join our book club and our monthly Zoom meetings. And there's also a higher tier, the Cyanide Connoisseurs, where you get another extra episode.
And more episodes.
Yes, each week. And the extra episode you get there is our behind-the-scenes chat, our warm-up chat, which is always crazy and racy, and it's very us, live.
Very us.
And some strange things have happened in those. Yeah, they become increasingly like full episodes, actually, now. We won't be stopped. As well as a gift pack from us to you.
And a PC Morris.
And a PC Morris.
And another episode.
There's
so many episodes. Lose track of the content.
There's so much content over there, we don't even know what it is. So, yes, do consider joining us on patreon.com/The Poisonous Cabinet to get more from us every single week, every single month, every single minute, really. If you haven't already, please check out our new website, thepoisonerscabinet.com, which has every episode that we have done on the main show, as well as having a lovely cocktail builder on there. You can research all of the cocktails we have ever done.
Indeed.
Based on the ingredients that you like.
A lot of cocktails on there.
Yeah, it's all good. And we'll also say an extra plea. If you love The Poisonous Cabinet, please do go and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. 5-star reviews from people who love us are so important. If you love a show, take that time, please, to leave them and us, if you're so willing, a 5-star review. We'd very much appreciate it.
We would.
Well, Nick, are you ready?
I should probably think so.
Let's drink cocktails, talk about poison.
Yeah, none for you, I feel.
Oh, well, I could drink poison and talk about cocktails.
Yes.
Very good.
Oh, well,
Would you like to?
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that.
I'm excited for it.
Oh, desperately so. Can't you tell?
I'll poke you with a stick. The excitement stick.
What
What's
fun.
that? What's that?
Perhaps it's best if you don't talk anymore.
On this podcast, absolutely. One bad reviewer is like, I've been waiting for this day. I've been listening until she shuts the fuck up. Should we go with the first one?
Okay.
Okay, hooray. It is Nick's story this week, but we can't possibly have a story without a cocktail in hand. As you know, dear listeners, every week we choose a secret ingredient that is inspired by the tale that we tell, and it will flavour our cocktail of the week. So, Nick, this week's secret ingredient is...
It's a soul.
A soul.
A soul.
Oh, that's weird.
I'm surprised we hadn't done it before.
Well, are you?
Well, I was actually. I did have to look. And no.
Well, no, we've never come across... Well, people have souls, if you believe in such things.
Indeed.
But they've never been the weapon of choice. I don't know. I don't know how the soul's going to figure in this.
Well, we'll find out.
I will say it was very good fun trying to illustrate this.
Yes, I did say good luck with the picture on this one.
Yes, on social media we had to put out. There was handy dictionary definition kind of image that I could use from stock. But when you try and type into various platforms, what is a picture of a soul? You get a lot of weird,
I'm sure. Yeah.
a lot of weird hippie shit of sort of multi layers of auras and dimensions and people throwing doves in the air. And doves on the ground, and just silhouettes of people like, ah. So I just went with the word. But with a soul.
Yes.
As your ingredient, your inspiration, what have you come up with?
We're having this week.
Okay.
We are having
Okay.
a devil's soul.
A devil's? Does the devil have a soul?
Well, we'll find out.
Ooh. Oh, that's going to be spiky.
It could, yes, indeed. It could be very pokey.
That's another word for spiky,
It's
isn't
another
it?
word for spiky, yes. Oh, you stole my word. You know the word.
Felt you had to contribute there.
Yeah, exactly. Shut up.
A devil's soul, a contradiction in terms, but it could be an amazing cocktail.
Hey, we'll never know.
I think it's high time for us to walk piously into the poisonous cabinet kitchen and shake up a storm. So we'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
Oh, Nick. The devil's soul.
Devil's soul.
The devil's soul. It does exist.
It does.
And it's in front of us.
It's in liquid form.
Yes. It's very brown.
Brown.
Brown like brimstone.
Quite.
What colour is brimstone?
Is brimstone not sulphur?
Is it?
So that would be a yellowy sort of colour.
Ah, yes. So no.
So it's not like that at all.
It's a good job I asked.
Also, it's got a reddy hue.
Has it?
When I look
when you put it right up to your eye.
when I look through against a really red thing, then it looks quite red.
You can tell we've had a couple of drinks beforehand as Nick just put his eye in the drink. Like, I can see it. Here it is.
I like seeing colours.
Do you like seeing-
I can taste colours with my eyes. That's how it works.
Well, good luck anyway. Well,
Great.
Nick's gonna be drinking it through his eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's brown still, but I am willing to be corrected. I think it's important that we drink this.
We probably should.
Okay, well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
To the devil's soul. Okay. Oh, hello.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, I do. I'm worried for us.
I'm concerned for you.
I don't have to read words. I'm fine.
This is true. But
I can
hold
just
on.
shout things. That's nice.
More, please.
Okay, Nick's on it. Jesus. Second sip. The spirit forward.
Yes.
The spirit forward.
Soul forward, one might say.
Oh, that has things in it. It's nice. I like it. I think you love it.
I like it very much.
There's something in it.
It has got something in it. This
It
is
has.
very
Yeah,
true.
it was shocking. Yeah. It's something I'm not sure about. Time to guess. Has it got rye in it?
No.
Because you were shouting about rye, but you don't have any rye. So does it have bourbon in it?
Yes.
The whole thing about this being a secret.
Well, I was convinced I had a bottle of rye.
Yes, and
And
you
then
walk
I-
around going, I haven't got any rye.
And then I couldn't find it, so I thought, oh shit, I have to use bourbon instead.
Yes, there we are. I'd worked that out somehow. And it's brown as well, so okay. You got red vermouth in it?
Nope.
Oh, right. It's got something really sweet in there. It hasn't got sugar syrup, has
Nope.
it? No. Maraschino?
Nope.
Something twiggy? Twiggy adjacent.
Twiggy adjacent.
So Campari. No.
Adjacent.
Adjacent to Campari. Right, milk? What? I don't know what's adjacent to Strega. No, I can see Strega there. Twiggy fruity? Branch?
really.
Branchy? Tree? Grassy? What?
Yeah, bit
What?
more herby
Herbally rather than
rather
twiggy.
than twiggy, I would say.
Is it Benedictine?
Nope.
Right, herbally. Oh, a Drambuie?
Nope.
This is painful,
It-
isn't
it
it?
is,
This
it
is
is,
really,
yeah.
But it's not going to stop.
Yes, and you'll never get it.
Fuck you. Yes, I
Okay.
will. I don't know.
Let's-
Cocci Americano.
No.
Something like that?
No.
All right. Something with herbs in it.
Yes.
Anything? Is there something away from the herbs that I can guess?
Yes.
Fruity?
No.
Lemony?
No.
Wait, you can't. What?
Planty.
Planty? Oh, elderflower?
Yes.
Oh, is there?
There's a wee drop of elderflower.
The liqueur?
Yes.
Oh, that's maybe why I don't like it. Well, no, I mean, I don't mind it, but elderflower.
Wait, like a third of an ounce
Boo.
of the
Stupid
Saint-Germain.
Saint-Germain. All right, and then the other enigma of herbs.
Two other things.
Two. Oh Christ! Hang on, one more sip, and then we'll end this.
We'll
I'll kill myself.
We'll end the misery.
You'll kill me. You'll just drink this and tell yourself a story
Yeah.
with 2 drinks.
I'll have a great time.
Better not be chartreuse.
Not chartreuse.
No, good. Something orange? Grand Marnier?
No.
Like a brandy?
No.
Or a cognac?
No.
Or a Calvados?
No.
Or an orange? Or a triple sec?
No.
What?
No.
What is in this?
As Aperol.
Oh, fuck you. Right.
So I say Campari adjacent.
Yes, that is fair. Campari adjacent, I will give you that. What is this other mystery?
And the other one is an Amaro. It's an Amaro. You'll never get which particular one. It's an Amaro Montenegro. So it is red vermouth, sweet adjacent. So herby, but a very specifically Amaro-y type thing.
I don't like you. There was no chance of me getting this, and you let that carry on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know. Just just drag it out for hours and hours and hours. I said you wouldn't get it.
I know, but that's
and
what
you
we're
took
trying
it
to
as
avoid.
a personal slight.
Exactly. It's me. Oh, you say I can't get this. Well, fine, I'll do that, and I'll climb that mountain. I tell you,
we'll be here for 5 hours, and I'm going through every booze I've ever heard.
Exactly.
Still not get it.
While taming a shark. So we've got bourbon, we've got a little elderflower, Aperol, and the Amaro. So it has...
Oh, there's one more thing
Shit, what?
that I forgot about.
Is it lies and
No.
my tears?
There's one more. There's one more thing.
Brimstone.
Not far off.
Sulfur? Salt? What am I saying? Fire? What? What is it?
Think smoky.
I was thinking there was something smoky in there, but you pushed me away from it.
Did I? Did you say you didn't say smoky?
Did I not say that out loud? I thought it.
Good.
I did. As soon as I stepped on, I went, oh, that's smoky. I must talk of that. And I did not.
No, that's the first time you've mentioned it.
Shut up. So like an Islay?
No.
Or mezcal?
Mezcal.
Has it got mezcal in
Mezcal
it?
in there as well.
This is weird. It's weird.
Lots of stuff going on.
It's got too much going on. I'm confused and very angry. It is the devil's soul, I tell you. Okay, that's a lot. So, okay, again, bourbon, mezcal, Aperol, Amaro, and a touch of elderflower. That's mental. That's 5 things. Is there bitters?
No bitters.
No,
I'm
thank
going to
God.
double check to make sure I haven't missed anything.
Or that you haven't put something in there that you weren't supposed to.
No, yeah, 5 things. Yep.
5 things. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, it's drinkable. It's very, very,
I like
very,
it.
very
I
forward.
like it. It's very. I think the rye would have made it not as sweet.
Yes.
Because the bourbon, the bourbon I use is relatively sweetish. So
But
the
it
rye
might strip your face off, though.
The rye would have made it, less sweet. But I like that. It does remind me of a Red Hook.
It does remind me of a Red Hook. It's not as good.
It's that, it's that bourbony, and then red vermouth, and you'd having a Red Hook, so you're getting that from the Amaro, and then a bit of fruitiness, which you're probably getting a bit from the elderflowery Aperol. Potentially, you're getting a bit of sweetness from that. So
you've got a bitter and a flower that came together and made a fruit.
So yes, but it's getting that sort of vibe to it.
and then just some mezcal for the.
And then just some other shit in there as well.
Someone just went mezcal. This is what this is missing.
Yeah.
Do you not want to try a little Islay malt that might go nicer with that? No,
nope.
mezcal.
The devil likes mezcal.
The devil does. The devil does. I mean, it's a curious concoction. I generally don't know how to feel about that. I will drink it, and I think it's a good.
You don't have to.
Do you want it?
I'll have it.
Oh, all right, okay.
I've also got to read words, but
You've also got to. I don't.
no,
what words am I reading?
I've got to read words.
No, I'll be the judge of this here. It's a curious one. There's so much going on. I feel like I've been punched in the face with booze, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. After a glass, a bit of wine, maybe
2 glasses of wine,
I've still got a little bit left in my glass, so that doesn't count.
and a bowl of sausages.
I did have a bowl of sausages with some tzatziki drizzled over it, and I ate it with a spoon like cereal. And that was before I had a drink. I was just hungry because we're classy.
We are classy
You know
people.
what I did? I topped it up with a couple of mini Scotch eggs as well. Crumbled over the top.
I mean, you're talking luxury now.
That's what I do when you get changed. I come into the flat and sit and just eat weird shit from a bowl. to line my stomach for the horrors ahead. But yes, my stomach fully lined, and with the devil's soul firmly in hand, we've caught it.
Caught it.
You are delighted. You're skipping down. You've got far too much faith in this devil. I am rightly cautious.
Okay.
Is it time for a story, Nick?
It most certainly is.
Goody.
Most certainly is.
Okay, good luck. Can I just say that now?
So, to start with...
Okay. Good. Well, we're going to start with something.
We're going to set the scene with an excerpt from the Boston Globe.
Okay, nice.
Okay, which was published on the 24th of February, 1901.
Nice.
Okay. Silent, stealthy, mysterious. Okay. The thing goes out into the night and back again to its lair like a beast of the jungle that prowls and preys by night, and gorged and hidden, and cares naught for the hue and cry by day. The terror of the invisible, the tragic, baffling secrecy of a scourge are about the thing. And it is the diabolical master and the deadly hunter of the hill. It is a mystery of mysteries. So it's a strong start.
It is a strong start.
Downhill from now.
Oh, it's just like describing me when I need snacks at night.
Now, I have to acknowledge on this episode that all thanks goes to author Jason Morrow, who has spent a huge amount of time and energy collating long-forgotten stories and into various books and his website. And this is where I came across this story, and it's one of the few sources that are available for this particular tale.
Oh.
So thank you for him. There's not even a Wikipedia page on it, would you believe?
Oh, wow.
So, my God, did it even happen?
Did it even happen? Exactly.
Is it all actual lies?
That's sort of the starting point when you're doing true crime. It's not, of course, we don't just use Wikipedia. Of course not. But you sort of go, no, but that's the thing. You say, there's a Wikipedia page, but there's only a Wikipedia page. You go, it's not good enough. No. You just go, oh, thank God, there's other sources.
Right, so we're going to jump back a few months prior to that newspaper article, to late 1900. Mm-hmm. And there is a problem in Denver.
No.
There has been a spate of women being attacked in the streets, and no one knows who is responsible or what they want.
Oh, dear.
As Christmas approaches, 5 women had been attacked. 1 had been killed by this unknown monster. But what was leaving police slightly confounded was the apparent lack of a motive.
Yeah.
Now, sort of assaults were not uncommon, but they were muggings, they were robberies, they were sexual assaults. But this was just someone, all he was interested in is bashing someone over the head and then running off.
Ooh.
There's no robbery, there's no theft, there's no sexual component.
Just acts of violence.
Just acts of violence, whacking someone around the head with a club and scarpering.
Wow.
Indeed.
Sweet Jesus.
Now, to begin with, these cases are seen as individual attacks. They are not connected. But as time goes on, police do start noticing similarities, and they start linking several cases to likely a singular culprit. And of course, once this is discovered that this is one person is responsible, the press have a great time coming up with various monikers and things for this individual. He's known as the Capitol Hill Thug, Capitol Hill being the area of which he prowled. The Capitol Hill Slugger.
Oh, I actually thought slugger at some point. I was like, surely they won't use that.
Yes.
Like, oh, God, no, they
He's
will.
also known as the Sandbagger.
Oh, God.
And in a slightly excessively dramatic tone,
Nice.
the Thing.
Now, that I like. The Thing,
The
brilliant.
Thing.
Monosyllabic, powerful, the Thing. It crawls. The slugger. Someone else like, well, no, we had some alliteration going on.
Now, most commonly he is known simply as the Thug. Really. And so I shall refer to him as the Thug, Capitol Hill Thug, throughout this.
Yes, we don't want it confused with the John Carpenter film.
Indeed. Now, his first sort of known appearance seems to be on the 24th of August that year. It was just after 8 o'clock when 28-year-old Elva Jessup was walking home from her service at the synagogue. It was a short walk back to her house, and Elva had her head down, hurrying to get home. She never saw the figure appear from the shadows behind her and swing his club, impacting the back of her head. The blow sends her stumbling to the ground, and she's got a deep and bloody wound to the back of her head. She tries to get her bearings and turns to try and fend off what she assumes is going to be a continuing assault, either to grab her purse or handbag or for something more horrendous. But to her surprise and relief, there's no one there. The person has just vanished.
Yeah.
She's just been clobbered, and then he's just legged it.
Wow.
Elva turns out to be the lucky one that evening. only a few hours later, at around 11 o'clock, the thug finds his next victim, Lillian Bell. Lillian is walking down an alley cutting between 16th Avenue and Washington Street when the thug looms out of a doorway. He strikes Lillian down again with a single blow to the head. This time, Lillian is knocked out. She remains unconscious, crumpled on the floor of the alley. She is found several hours later by some people who are passing by, and she's rushed to hospital. She's in hospital for 11 days. She never regains consciousness, and she dies, never able to tell her story to the police. 1 month later, the 24th of September, Emma Carlson is walking home from church when the thug finds her waiting at the intersection of 16th Avenue and Emerson Street. Before the blow strikes her head, she, for some reason, has an inkling, and she turns. And rather than being struck on the back of the head, she's struck straight in the forehead by this blow. But she is facing the person. She does manage to get a glimpse of this person's face before he runs off. She scrambles to the nearest house, and only when she's really safely inside, she falls sort of bleeding against the wall and to the floor, disorientated in this hallway. But she is able to describe her attacker before she's taken into hospital. And she describes him as a very, very small man with a very white complexion, she says. Now, this is 3 victims in 1 month.
Yeah.
Which all appear to be linked with no other motive apart from just wanting to bash women round the head. There's no theft, there's no sexual assault or anything like that. It's just one whack and off. And police start to sort of think something's a bit weird here. But I mean, at the time, the Denver police are overrun with muggings and thefts and assault, and the papers seem to put the reason for this spike in crime levels squarely at the feet of the police department, who many people claim are entirely distracted by upcoming elections and are far too far too distracted doing the bidding of the political masters and sort of making sure that they catch the right kind of criminals. The victims who are going to vote in the next election, solve those crimes first.
Not ladies.
Not exactly. Not ladies who can't vote, or the people down on their luck who can't vote. Let's not worry too much about those sorts of crimes. Let's get the posh people crimes, because they're going to keep us in power.
There's all sorts of problems with that.
Yeah,
isn't there?
indeed. So fairly or unfairly, this is the press lays the blame for this spike in assaults and unsolved crime squarely at the police's feet. This sort of apparent indifference with the police allows the thug really to continue relatively unchecked. And on the 5th of October, Annie McAtee is attacked near her home on Humboldt Street. She survives the attack and she is released from hospital, and she's able to recuperate at home. Now, unfortunately for the thug, Annie had been quite a poor choice of victim. Her brother George is a successful businessman and someone with money and influence, and he is not willing to let the assault on his sister sort of go unpunished, unnoticed, and he is one who's going to make a fuss about why the fuck aren't you investigating this stuff. And he uses his considerable influence and political sort of clout to really make a fuss about this and make sure it is reported in all the papers.
That's really reassuring that the brother will come forward and go, yes, to do that.
Yes.
It's also, you hear that going, but don't worry, she had a brother.
She had a brother.
Who had money.
She had a man behind
her.
A
man with a penis.
Yes.
And who would be listened to, I tell you. And he was not going to let this lie, where all the other women are like, for God's sake, we're being clubbed.
Yeah, but you don't have cash, do you?
Do you have any money?
Do you have any money? Do you know the editor of the local paper? No, I don't think you do.
No penis, no investigation. You can't have one.
So he makes a lot of fuss about the lack of attention this case has received from the police, and he offers a $200 reward for information that will lead to her attacker, his sister's attacker. And it is George's campaigning that eventually lead police to take a proper look and start to notice this pattern that's been going on over the past few months. They have a serial bludgeoner in Denver. It is only now they've really realised it. Sort of,
you can imagine them sort of looking at a big map and going, "There's a pattern here," and it's just the shape of a club where all the victims were.
It's just a big arrow to a house. Now, this sort of new press interest and the renewed police interest seem to temporarily sort of ward off the thug from his attacks. And it's not until 2 months later that he comes out of hiding again and strikes. On the 22nd of December, so just before Christmas, Duet Young, she is heading home when she is struck from behind without getting a good look at her attacker at all. Then on the 6th of January, Julia Doer, she is attacked on her way to work. She works as a housekeeper. And afterwards, she's struck. The thug pushes her into a hole that's been prepared for a new cellar on the side of the street.
Oh.
So a new building that's going up, and he just like pushes her into this hole.
Oh, God. Oh, that's dark, isn't it?
Now, fortunately, both women survive their assaults.
Yeah.
But it is after the attack on Julia Doer, and the press are really ramping up now, going, why the fuck isn't this person being caught? And so the citizens of Denver decide to take action themselves. And if the police aren't going to do anything about it, then they will. A vigilante mob forms.
Oh, God, no, it never works out this way.
Sort of patrols the streets at night.
Yeah.
Looking for the thug, looking to take out this man. Some of the men dress as women to try and lure out the thug.
Okay, this is sounding very familiar. This is very much shades of Spanko, isn't it?
It is rather.
It is. Your man who was going and in the 1700s, he was just going and just lifting up girls' skirts, and it was very horrible assaults in that way, and not with a club. But then all the vigilantes were like, "We shall dress as women," and just bending over, like, "Go on, spank us, honestly, we dare you." I do get it that was a regular thing. Like, okay, we'll have
try and
officers
lure out.
Dressed as women. Yeah, not quite the Spanko territory.
Yes. try and lure out this man. Unfortunately, they don't catch him, but they seem to be successful in sort of deterring attacks.
Yes.
So none of the men are assaulted.
Probably because they're not
but no women are during this time. But
hopefully the assailant is looking out and going, there's police on the street, because it's very, very obvious. Yes. They are just standing here and they've put a wig on badly over their uniforms and are carrying a bunch of flowers.
These aren't police. These are regular citizens who
have formed
this mob.
Oh, it's a vigilante group. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, so there's not the police at all.
There's just men in full suits.
Yeah, this is like people borrowing their wives' dress type of thing to go out of an evening.
Very fussy. There we go. I want to have the ball gown. We wouldn't wear that on the street. No, but it's lovely.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I'm just borrowing your dress, darling. Why? Vigilante business. Yeah. Right.
Oh, let's not discuss it. Wonderful. He went in the opposite direction of the vigilante group. Well, fair enough. I'm just imagining a guy in a suit who had no idea, just standing there holding 2 melons. I don't know.
So enthusiasm starts to diminish for vigilante justice, really. They're not catching anyone. They're patrolling the streets. It's a little bit dull now. Yeah. Can I go home and have a cup of tea? Yeah, So, the groups start to split up and fragment, leaving the streets unguarded for the thug to strike again.
It's such a... Yeah, it's a catch-22, isn't it? It's just like, you are a deterrent. You need to be out there and be a deterrent. A visible police, or, vigilante is the wrong word, but a visible presence is going to deter them. If you're only out there to catch someone, you're sort of missing the point, aren't you? Right. But then they go inside going, oh, we didn't beat anyone up today. Going, well, you're sending a mixed message.
On the 16th of February, Marie Fraser collapses through the door of her parents' house, blood smeared across her face. When she regains consciousness, she hardly remembers a thing about what has happened. She remembered leaving the hairdressers at about 6:30 that evening, then nothing. And then she remembers staggering through the door, home. That same evening, there may well have been another victim if one young lady hadn't been especially vigilant. 16-year-old Miss Everest. Ooh. She was walking home after work and she noticed a man following her. Now, she stopped to give the man a chance to pass her by on the street,
Brave.
But he also stops behind her. She picks up her speed. He picks up his speed, following.
The terror.
Exactly. She quickly darts up the path of a nearby house and raps on the door. She's let 2 women open the door and she's let in. The man seems to step into an alleyway and into a shadow. Now, for a time, it looks like he's waiting. He's seen from the window to look like there's a figure waiting there in case she's going to then leave, presume he's gone, and then leave, continue her way home. Thankfully, all three women, they leave together, and these two other women escort Miss Everest home.
Yeah. It's still dangerous.
Still dangerous, but then seeing the man appears, he's not willing to take on three people. So he's looking
they know where he is.
They know where he is. Yeah. He's looking for easy lone victims, not three wary women. She gets home safely. Monday morning comes around and she's walking to work with her sister, and she sees the same man watching her. And this is broad daylight in the morning. It seems maybe that he's got an eye for her. He didn't get her on the evening, so he's watching her in the morning. This time, broad daylight, she is able to describe exactly what this man looks like.
Brilliant.
Medium height, very light skin, she says. A large, drooping black moustache. Quite a prominent nose, and his blue eyes with a long grey coat. It's known as an Ulster coat and hat, she describes as. So now police have got this is the first description that police have got to go on to try and identify this thing. The thing. Break.
I think it's time for
a break.
Yes. Nick, we have our drinks.
We do.
The thing.
The thing
has been, not fully identified, but we have a description.
We have a description
of a droopy, moustached man.
Yes, a pale chap with blue eyes, big moustache. But he is still causing chaos in Denver. And with this sort of now the increasing pressure from the press, the police are eventually sort of spurred into action. We need to do something now. So they're starting arresting anyone they come across. Anyone and everyone. Like, you're under arrest. You're under arrest. You're under arrest too.
Women go in reporting the crime. Like, you're under arrest, not me.
Yeah, it's just everyone. And they keep these people locked up until they're confident that, okay, it's not you. Fine. Or another attack happens, and then
they go,
okay, it wasn't you then because you were in prison, so off you go.
Brilliant. Everyone's just in the jail going, this is the finest policing we've ever seen.
Exactly, it's fantastic policing. Now, police would frequently proclaim that they had found their man, only for a subsequent attack to prove them, oh no, we haven't. We haven't actually got our man. Then a week later, we've got our man.
Hey!
Oh no, we haven't got our man at all.
Well, I guess they're doing a battle with the public and with press as well, so they have to be constantly seen to be making arrests,
making progress,
and
making
like,
arrests.
yes, this is definitely
Absolutely.
the man. Reassure everyone, but it's all just. It's very challenging, I'm sure, on a level that we can't possibly understand back then. But still, it's like, no, we have someone. Okay, everyone, let your guard down.
Yeah.
Wander around the streets wantonly.
We have Captain Armstrong, who seems to be the man in charge of this investigation. And he is confident that Joseph Shackley, he is their man. He is the one who has done that.
Ooh.
A week later, no, it's David Pearce. He is the one who has done this. He's the culprit. Oh shit, it's George Turner. He's the one. He's the one. He say each time further attacks prove the previous man innocent, and then someone else is accused. The Aspen Tribune writes, the Denver police have again captured the thug of Capitol Hill. Every arrest they make, they are dead sure he is the fellow they are looking for so many weary days. We do not wish to discourage them, but we have the presentiment that this man is not the one. He belongs to a great army of men who cannot tell where he was on a certain night, and therefore falls under suspicion.
Right, okay.
It's just like anyone and everyone. Yeah. They continue, it is not safe to walk the streets unless one has a Bowie knife in one hand, a revolver in the other, and a Gatling gun pointed at the rear under each arm.
I mean, fair.
So,
that's
fully
absolutely
protected.
covered.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Now, things do take a turn for the worse on the 22nd of February, when the thug attacks 3 women in 1 hour.
Jesus.
First, Mary Short. She is found unconscious in a vacant lot. Mary never regains consciousness, and she dies the next day. Then, just after 8 o'clock that evening, Emma Johnson, she's walking home from church when she is attacked. She manages to stumble to the nearby home of her employer, a Dr. Waxham, who she's a maid for, and his quick medical treatment probably saves the day, and one of the only reasons that she survives. The final victim that night is Josephine Uttenheller. The blow causes a 5-inch long gash behind her right ear. And before she goes into surgery, she describes a man just like Miss Everett did. Medium build, black moustache. But this time, she says, the man was wearing a policeman's uniform. This is a fact that the police were very, very keen to keep out of the press. And were quite successful because Josephine died 3 days after her surgery. Now, the police start rounding up. Get anyone and everyone, just everyone, just anyone you meet on the street, just lock them up, in the hopes that something will stick on someone. We just through just numbers, we'll find them.
Process of elimination. Right,
we'll find the guilty culprit. On one day, 14 men are rounded up. They are all poor labourers, people on the edge of society, little money to defend themselves, no contacts, people who are. There's no one really to miss them or to kick up a fuss. That these men have been held without evidence, without reason, just because they happen to look a bit down on their luck. And the type of people who must go around assaulting women. So,
okay.
I mean, they are all held on random charges, and none of them wearing clothes that resemble a policeman's uniform.
No,
of course.
Well, that would be weird if they were. Actually, to be fair, like you, policeman, I work with you, for God's sake.
The reward for any information is increased by $500. We're now at $700 for the capture of this Capitol Hill thug. The reward inspires a chap, Albert James Frederick, to come forward. Now, he says that on the night of the triple attack, he had gotten a very close-up view of the thug. He says he had heard a woman cry out before a man rushed past him down an alley. Now, Captain Armstrong, he takes Albert to the jail where these 14 men have been incarcerated, and straight away Albert identifies one man. He is the culprit, a chap called Al Cohen. He is the man who had run past him that evening, just after Mary Short had been attacked and later died. Now, pro-police newspapers herald this new witness. He is the star of Denver. He is the hero of Denver who has come forward and identified this person. The case is closed, huzzah and hurrah. Other publications are less enthusiastic, saying, well, we've heard it all before. We've been here before, and it's all nonsense. Much was made of Frederick's unreliability of a witness. He was not of a particularly fancy social class. He was one of those sort of common labourers. Can he really be trusted? He did have a bit of an issue with drink as well. He only came forward once the reward had been announced. So is he just after the money? So some people think.
Isn't that a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Well,
though?
I mean, so yes, some people are very, very pro, hurrah for Albert. Some people are like, wow, bastard, no, it's all nonsense.
Yes, because the upper classes have never had a drink in their lives. No.
So it is very, very much split. Captain Armstrong questions this man at length to really drill down and get his statement about what he actually saw. And he comes away convinced that Al Cohen is the one he saw. He is the culprit. He also claims that when Al Cohen is subsequently arrested for this, that he was in possession of a revolver and, more importantly, an iron bar a foot in length. He is found with. So, yeah.
Why would you have an iron bar?
Why would you carry an iron bar? But no, when he is rounded up, he has an iron bar on him. What more evidence could you need?
That's a bit convenient.
The captain continues to say that he answers the meagre descriptions that they have of this culprit. Right. He goes on to say that after his interviews, he is convinced that Cohen is mentally unbalanced. He hates womankind, he says. So he absolutely is the culprit. So a huge amount is made about how apparently mentally deranged this man is and how unstable and how he would do anything, and he's so unpredictable that he would attack anyone for no reason at all. So a great deal of made of this in the press, and many doctors, most learned stroky beard doctors, sort of come forward going, well, of all the things I've read in the press about him, he must be a monster. He's obviously a complete loon. Right. Have you met the man? No, I read this press report. So
yes, absolutely. The press report is absolutely
foolproof, factual information. Actual evidence is still rather thin on the ground. There's actually very, very little. But police are convinced there's absolutely no doubt that this is the man. And they are comforted, perhaps, or they hope to be comforted, should I say, by the help they receive from a Dr. C.W. Palmer from Kansas City. And he hopes that he is going to be one who's going to really clinch this case for them.
Yeah.
Dr. Palmer is a professor of the telepathic sciences.
Oh, God.
And announced that he is going to use the soul force to extract secrets from Al Cohen's mind.
Is that the ingredient?
That's
Yay! The soul force.
Soul force.
Force of the soul.
Yes. Now, an Iowa newspaper reports exactly how this sort of process works.
Love it. Tell me everything.
So in Kansas City, where the good doctor is based,
Yes.
he is going to put a subject, a random volunteer, into the 5th stage of hypnotism. What the 5th stage is, we don't know, but it sounds very fancy.
But it's a bit like the third dimension or the fourth dimension,
exactly.
the 5th layer, the 7th layer.
So,
Just put a random number on it. Oh,
yeah,
the 5th
the
stage.
fifth
The
stage.
5th
That's
stage.
a high stage.
Oh,
That
that's
is.
very good. That's very good.
Absolutely. Chicken is 1 stage. So, I mean, 5th stage, my God. I mean, so at this heightened level of hypnosis, the subject is then able to use his soul force to subconsciously connect with Al Cohen, who is still imprisoned over in Denver.
Oh, right.
And he is able to then read his mind. He is able to extract the secrets and the knowledge that Al Cohen is keeping secret.
Sure.
The police are left slightly disappointed. When it turns out that Dr. Palmer, that something is blocking the soul force here, something is blocking the soul force, not able to connect. We'll have to try again another day.
Isn't that always the way?
I mean, it's always the case.
Signal failures.
Soul blockage.
Yeah.
It's
The network is down.
network is down.
Need to call out BT to redo
so
the wires.
unfortunately, the police. Shit. We really that was going to.
That was going to be the thing.
That was going to catch the case for us.
All their eggs were in that basket. Clearly. Don't worry. We have a man who says he can hear someone's thoughts from a very, very far way away.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Right. The soul force. That
Soul
was
force.
it.
The false force is the way forward.
I've got the lip. These police are shit. These are bad police. And they have no reason to be this bad. They have no reason to be this bad, Nick.
Yeah. They do have another witness who comes forward.
Is it God?
It's not actually. It's Mrs. Grove.
Mrs. Grove.
Mrs. Grove.
Might as well be.
And she says that she has seen Al Cohen near where Mary Short had been murdered, and that he had been acting suspiciously.
How do you act suspiciously?
He was just acting very, very dodgily.
Had a cloak draped across his face.
He was twirling his
walking
moustache.
in a kind of like a very arch criminal kind of way, cackling.
All of those things.
Right.
She said she'd been walking home with her daughter after spending the evening with some friends, and as she passed an empty lot, she saw someone lurking in the shadows who resembled dear old Al. She started to run, being quite concerned about what has been in the press recently.
Did she take her daughter with her? Or
I think she was carrying her daughter.
Oh,
so
the daughter's young, right.
wee little thing.
I'm glad she was young. She wasn't 20. Yeah. Leapt into her arms like, Jesus.
So she's carrying her wee little one.
Okay.
And she decides to run. But then Mrs. Grove, she goes, no. If I'm going out, I'm not going out without a fight. I'm not getting clobbered around the back of my head.
Oh,
no.
Okay, good point, because if she's running away...
She's running away and the chap chases after her and wallops around the head.
Baby.
She said, no, if I'm going out, I'm going out in a fight.
I'm saying fair. Also, just run fast, bitch. Run.
She turns and faces this sort of shadowy figure who seems to sort of skulk deeper into the recesses in these sort of shadows where he's hiding, not willing to face a victim face on.
Yeah.
Really. So she says she's able to make out a few features that seem to match Al Cohen. She also says that the man was carrying a white wooden club.
A
white wooden club. Like a light wood wooden club, not painted white. Yes, something of that nature. And she sort of stares down this man who is just not doing anything, is hiding. And she gets away, and the man stays, lurking in the shadows.
It does seem like he's committing very cowardly attacks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, determined to attack women, doesn't want to face them.
Yeah. Someone who's willing to stand their ground and go, "Oh, you fucker!" He's absolutely terrified of such.
He'd be identified, wouldn't he? Yeah.
And so
Oh, good for her.
Good for her, indeed.
In
Absolutely. Then we have a hardware store employee who comes forward to say that a man who resembles Cohen had bought 2 wooden pickaxe handles. Only days before the triple attacks. This would have been really useful if the captain hadn't already announced that Cohen had been found with a metal bar.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So it's like, make up your mind, mate. Is it a metal bar, or are we going for wooden clubs? What are you going with?
Or are you just saying
Or are
shit?
you just making shit up? Al Cohen is sent for trial. He goes to trial. His trial starts on the 26th of March 1901 for the murder of Mary Short. Now, when the doors open at the courthouse, the gallery fills within minutes of people desperate to see this trial and witness what's going to happen. Cowan takes his place in the dock, and by his side is attorney David Rees. Now, he is one of the most aggressive and successful attorneys in Denver, and he has agreed to defend Cowan's or pro bono. He was doing no charge.
Oh, wow.
He is convinced that this man is not guilty of what he's been charged with, and he stands by him. The prosecution, they start their case by trying to introduce evidence from all the other attacks and all the other murders that have been linked together, hoping that they could sort of show a pattern of events. But Rees manages to get every single piece of evidence that does not directly relate to the murder of Mary Short kicked out of court.
That's circumstantial.
So no, he's on trial
related.
for this murder. None of this other shit is related, and the judge is forced to agree that none of this other stuff matters.
Yeah.
So a whole raft of evidence that the police have put together is determined inadmissible and goes.
Again, these police are shit. They must have known that going in there. You can't bring in evidence relating to other cases on another. It's 101, people.
But they're still confident. They still got their star witness. They still got dear old Albert Frederick.
Oh yeah.
So they still got him up their sleeves. So we'll be okay.
Will they?
Now, since Albert has come forward as this witness, he has been interviewed and quizzed by every police officer, every newspaper, everyone on the street has quizzed him about what he's saying, what he's seen, and it has become quite clear that he is indeed actually quite a volatile character. One thing in particular that he has issue with is race and the colour of one's skin, predominantly his own. Really, many of the newspapers refer to him as a black gentleman. And he absolutely loses it. When anyone calls him black, he's absolutely horrified by the suggestion. He is absolutely adamant. His parents are Arabic. His parents are from Morocco. He is of Arabic descent.
Right.
He's not a black man. He's an Arab. And it absolutely matters hugely to him, this distinction. As soon as anyone calls him black, he absolutely loses it. He loses his shit about the thing. He seemingly horrendously insulted by the implication.
Okay.
Many of the newspapers seem, just to get a rise out of him, use a lot of the colourful vernacular of the time about him, which only angers him more and really sort of incenses him. And so when he does come across in interviews, he's seen as this sort of shouty
very
mad
angry,
person, very angry man. So and some people do it just to get a rise out of him. So it also comes to light that Albert had once been in the army, but he had been discharged for a morphine addiction. Yeah. So again, another thing that points him out as he's a no good sort of degenerate sort of person, which doesn't really help his case as a star witness. So I mean, on the stand, when he's put on the stand, the defense attorney David Rees rips him to pieces. Really, he starts by just really trying to get under his skin, using hugely derogatory terms towards him, and which obviously incenses Albert. He gets very, very angry at these terms, and he gets so muddled and so confused and so angry that at one point his anger sort of boils over, and he grabs the revolver from the evidence table.
What?
That's there, and starts screaming at the attorney that he's a dirty skunk, that he's going to kill him.
Okay, so not great.
So he has.
What is happening in this court case?
The attorney knows exactly which buttons to push to get a massive reaction out of this witness, and he does it to get this reaction. Of
course, but of course you would. I mean, it's not pretty. But then the defense has got to discredit this star witness. Has absolutely got to discredit him as someone who is unreliable and who's volatile.
Yeah.
But to do so in that way, and whatever the prejudice is there on both sides or anything, whatever the feelings are, don't pick up a gun. Why are you picking up a gun in a court case? You've not done anything, mate. Oh, that's great, actually. Yeah. I mean, that's awful, but still, I don't think we've seen a witness picking up a gun trying to kill everyone going, don't.
So the constables in the courtroom are sort of forced to manhandle this revolver out of Albert's hand. And surprisingly, the questioning continues after they settle him down. We've got the gun out of his hand, and the questioning continues.
The defense would probably go like, no, I'm happy to carry on. I'm on a roll here.
Exactly, he's on a roll. And then he brings up the morphine. and he brings up, you were in the army, you heard a woman scream, why didn't you go to her aid? And things like that. You're a cowardly man. So I think really, really, really putting it to him. It ends really with the defence accusing Albert of being the culprit himself. So he is the one who has murdered Mary Short. He is the one who has done all these things, and he's trying to blame someone else for his own crimes. Mary was a black lady, and he has obviously demonstrated his ill feeling or his prejudices. He was near the crime scene. He's admitted to being near the crime scene. He's obviously got an issue with race. Albert was the thug. This man was the one responsible, not my client. So he really sticks it to him.
It's unsettling on many levels because this is just a crazy court case.
Yeah. I mean, all these things sort of only engage sort of Albert's ire, and the judge is forced to sort of try and calm him down with threats of jail and things like that if you don't calm down and answer these questions and things. On Wednesday the 4th of April, this is 12 days into the trial, and to everyone's great surprise, the prosecutor comes into court and announces that the charges against Al Cohen are being dropped. Now, the defence immediately demands that his client is released straight away. Get him out of here. And the judge agrees. Al Cohen, you are a free man. Off you go. What? He does not make it out of the courtroom before he is arrested on charges of lunacy.
What?
Now, I mean, remember, he is quite mad, this man. He has been portrayed in the press as an absolutely mentally deranged, this man, with his utter hatred of women. He's completely crazy.
But then they haven't proven that he has attacked people.
Yes, but we're not going to get it. It's becoming obvious that the charge of murder is not going to go anywhere.
How are you going to stand up lunacy?
So we're going to charge him with just being a mad person and lock him in and just lock him up in an asylum instead.
Oh, okay.
Because that just seems to be much easier.
You crazy.
Because you're crazy. So we can't get you on murder, but we'll get you for being crazy.
Has he displayed any lunacy in
court? Not really in court. No, he's been quite passive, really. In court,
he's been sitting there with his underpants on his head and 2 pencils up his nose.
He's generally been quite passive. I mean, Albert is the one who's been shouting and screaming and waving guns around.
Okay.
So the witness has been slightly more crazy than the person on trial. But no, they have this sort of story going that Al Cohen is this sort of crazy madman. So yeah, they've obviously realised this trial is going to shit. It's not going well.
They still want a conviction.
But we still want a conviction. So we'll lock him up. We'll get him on charges of lunacy. And we'll lock him in the asylum instead. Now, the attorney, David Rees, he tells the assembled press, this is absolute nonsense. This is a political sort of hatchet job against his client from a failing police force who are desperate to save their own skin and save face. That's the only place these charges have come from, and he is going to stick with his client right to the end until he is a free man. A few days later, on the 9th, Al Cohen is standing front and centre of a sanity hearing at the county hospital.
Okay.
3 doctors spend half an hour examining Al and declare him entirely insane. He's utterly mad. They say utterly mad. These are also police-appointed doctors who have now declared this man an absolute crazy person. Al Cohen is then allowed to plead his case himself. He is allowed to take the stand himself. And the Colorado Springs Gazette reports that when placed on the stand himself, he made such an admirable witness that neither the opposing counsel or judge could baffle him.
Oh.
So he is able to stand there and hold his own against people trying to trick him out, trying to really do any little dirty trick to trick him into saying something that might seem slightly weird. But no, he holds his own and he's able to get through it. Judge Lindsay sides with Cohen.
Yeah.
And after 6 weeks of being locked up, he is finally free. He is released. Curiously, during his stint inside, there were no more attacks from the thug at all. Yeah, the thug seemed to have kept a low profile. 10 days after his release, in the early hours of the morning, 35-year-old Eliza Monroe was assaulted. Again, blow to the back of the head, just near her home. But this time, within hours of this assault, police are knocking on the door of Al Cohen's boarding house.
Yeah.
Going, right, okay, he must have struck again.
Struck again,
absolutely. They find him tucked up in bed asleep.
Yeah.
And his landlady and numerous other residents of the boarding house absolutely adamant. This man has not left the house since last night. He got home from last night and he has not left his room since then. There's no way on earth this man attacked anyone. Got left and attacked anyone.
That sounds like a case for Sherlock Holmes.
It was not him at all. Now, he realises that he is never going to get a moment's peace in Denver. He is well recognised. Everyone is going to come after him and think he is guilty. So he upsticks. He moves to Central City in Colorado to find work in the mines, just to find a job, and he is never heard of again. Albert Fredericks, who's questionable testimony, he is now something of a prior in the city as well. He really can't show his face anywhere, and the prosecutors, they pay for his train fare to New York. They say, we fucked up your life so much. here's a few dollars for the train fare to New York. Go and start a new life. And so he shifts off to New York. Captain Armstrong, the head of the police, who's run the police, despite his rather limited success, he is later promoted to chief of police.
Why?
I think he does have some success in other cases. This one, not so much.
The case of the cat up the tree, maybe.
And the Denver thing is never heard of again.
What?
And that is the story of, the Capitol Hill slugger. The Capitol Hill thug. The thing. The sandbagger. Whatever you want to call him.
Oh, my God.
It's all been mad.
That is a good story.
Yeah.
That's mad.
That's
very weird. That is a great story of police fucking shit up.
There's some...
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting to pick apart. As in, I mean, they are such random attacks.
Yes. No one really knows if these people were targeted or if, they were just entirely random or if there was some grudge held against these particular women by someone, because we don't really know. Was it just happenstance that it was just like walked upon? There seemed to be no pattern. In other words, they vary between sort of like 16 to sort of early 50s in age. They were different races, different sort of social backgrounds. Some employed, some not employed.
Yeah.
It's a whole range of different women who are just going about their business.
Maybe they'd just been picked off on the street at random and then had been fixated on them. In that case of the young woman who was followed and then she saw the person the next day, maybe the person just had a compulsion.
Yeah,
it does seem like
got away that night before, so we'll follow and get her again. So.
Like, this is the one, I've picked this one, rather than just going find any old person. But just, to carry out this random attack, just such violence against women.
Yeah, and it's just
violence.
Violence for violence sake, really.
Yeah, of just anger and rage.
Yeah.
To strike out people.
Yeah.
Strike them down.
But it's odd because it's just, I mean, 2 people die, but it's odd. It's bizarre that it's not a rage that is I need to kill type thing, because many of the women were left lying unconscious on the ground. I mean, he could have quite easily have continued sort of battering away and killed them or robbed them or done anything. But it seemed to be like one strike to the back to the head. And that was sufficient for whatever he got out of this.
Maybe that was just the compulsion.
That was just one wallop. 2 of the women did die from this attack, which is how it connected. The others survived. But it is bizarre.
Yeah, and it does feel like the perpetrator, for such a strange, as I said, random attack and sudden one blow attack, is obviously quite calculated as well, because he's been very careful to hide their appearance, to hide in the shadows, to know they can't confront someone face on, because then if they survive, they'll have an ID. And it doesn't seem like they're setting out to kill them.
No, it doesn't appear. Yeah, no. It appears so. I mean, are they? You
can imagine the woman who had the child and who confronted, like turned around and said, "No, I will face you." The guy did not come at her.
No, absolutely.
Did not go, "Well, I'll attack you and I'll kill you. Make sure you don't say anything."
No.
Because that would be the way of concealing your identity. It was just some weird compulsion to do that at random. Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of happy slapping or whatever. That thing. Well, why the hell did people do that? Apart from it's funny, but it can be very, it's incredibly dangerous. But the police have just that desperation of we've caught them. Just shut up. Just do a better job and stop pretending you've solved this. And your man Albert just giving that evidence.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Did he? Was Alco the one responsible? I mean, was it him all along? I mean, because I say things stopped when he was inside, started up again when he left. I mean, we don't know what. Were there similar attacks in New York once he moved to New York? We don't know.
Yeah.
So so that seems like a bizarre timing coincidence, or was it the actual person was like, I don't know, someone's taking the rap for this. I'll
die down.
I'll die. Or.
But then wouldn't they have done the same thing every time someone new was arrested? Unless, oh God, if you're going deep into the conspiracy theory, if it was a police officer.
Well, that's what that was one of the concerns, because obviously this woman was identified as wearing a police uniform.
So it's a police uniform. So the police are probably trying desperately to cover something up. Yeah. You know, if you want to go down that route of just it's all an inside job and things, and we desperately need to have someone else convicted. So, yeah. We need a scapegoat. We need someone to give this evidence. And the volatile man who was the witness, who was the star witness. I mean, that's such an awful position to be in, because if you are whatever this person's character, just look at it neutrally.
I mean, he was ripped to pieces.
He ripped to pieces. It would have been put across in the press, going, you know, is their name would be all over the place. Yeah. This is the person, and are they reliable? And then everything about them is going to be absolutely destroyed and pulled through. Yeah.
His life was pulled to pieces.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And probably would be very angry. And again, the defence's duty.
Absolutely.
Duty is a very strong word, but it's their job.
It is their job to do that. Yeah.
To do this. It's really upsetting, as I said before, that in certain trials, you have victims on the stand, and the defense is there to go, you're completely unreliable. This horrific thing has happened to you, but I'm going to tear you apart, and I'm going to call everything about you into question. And this person ends up waving a gun around the courtroom. It's
that was not an ideal choice.
Not a good choice. Not a good choice.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a rich, full story, but of a mystery. I wonder what happened. Well, what do you think, people? What do you think of the story of the Thing? Of the Capitol Hill Slugger? The Capitol Hill Slugger, the sandbagger. The big wacky clubman.
Yeah, the thug.
The thug. What do you think was going on there? What do you think of the psychology, or what was really going on in the psyche of the person committing these crimes to just do these random attacks? Maybe you've heard of these sorts of things in the past. Why do you think they were doing that? What do you think was going on with the police force, of them just desperately, clearly trying to have a suspect and go, don't worry, we're in control? If an election's going on, were their resources really being diverted? Were they just incompetent, and did they not know what they were up against? And what of the trial? What of the witness? What of the accused? Who do you think was really responsible? Or was this all just a big old fuck up? Tell us what you think. Jump on the comments of this episode. Share your thoughts, your feelings, your musings, your theories. But most importantly, when you do, mix up the devil's soul.
Oh, it's gone down a treat.
It has. It's gone down very well. We should also nod to the person. I love the random reference, the way you got that in there. But the person was like, I will now solve this crime by using soul magic.
When I saw that bit, I thought, I'm going to have to use this. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I think if soul comes into it later. But yes, I will communicate with their soul. And it didn't work out crazily.
Surprising that.
Isn't it? But the devil's soul was, you loved that.
Very nice indeed.
I liked it. I think there was far too much going on.
There's a lot going on.
I mean, it is tasty overall. It's not. It's a cousin to the Red Hook.
Yes.
So that's never a bad thing. But it's also mad. Like this story.
But the recipe will be out on Friday this evening. So do give it a go. If you fancy joining us in madness, then try it.
I mean, it's a way to work through your cabinet, isn't it? Yeah, because there's a lot of shit in there. Share pictures of whatever cocktails you're enjoying this weekend while you're listening to this episode, whether you're enjoying them at home or you're at a bar and you find new, interesting cocktail recipes. We would love to see them. If you haven't already, please do consider joining us on patreon.com to get more from the Poisonous Cabinet every week, every month, every moment you think of us. And please do leave us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes predominantly, and on Spotify, where we're very popular.
Oh, yes.
As it really, really helps the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. We have been the people inside the Poisoner's Cabinet. We will see you next week. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.
Oh,